Welcome to the Cards Hub Postgame Show, which is brought to you by Hot Shots, St. Louis's home for all the games all the time since 1990. Find yours at hotshotsnet.com and by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Stefan, Caray, and Sara Dayley here after a forgettable Cardinals loss at home, game one of the series against the New York Mets. The Cardinals fall to 0-5 against the Metropolitans in 2025. The talk of the town tonight is going to be the St. Louis Blues, so we encourage you to check out the Blues post-game show here on Sports Hub STL. But Sara, 9-3 loss by the Cardinals, and this was a case of the Mets hitting everything in sight. Sonny Gray did not have his best stuff here in game one of this series.
You're exactly right. And again, it looked like it was going to go the Cardinals' way initially, and then things kind of became unraveled. Sonny, however, didn't start off bad, just kind of struggled as the game went on. So the Cardinals tonight, they only put up 3 runs off of 9 hits. They didn't have any home runs compared to the slugfest that we saw in Cincinnati with all the games there, really that entire series. The Mets putting 2 out here tonight. Cardinals 2 stolen bases, 5 left on base, and just 1 error. So again, kind of seeing some of the resurgence that we've seen in some of the early parts of the Cardinals. We see the great games, and then we turn around and see some of these things where they just fall apart and they can't keep it together.
No doubt about it. The Cardinals have been a team that have virtually caught everything that has been hit their way. They've played excellent defense. The error by Wilson Contreras to not double up the Mets in one of those middle innings, I'm forgetting which exactly it was, really was the turning point. I think the Mets continue to add runs. I believe that was the 5th inning of offense for the New York Mets, where they scored 4 to take the lead against the Cardinals. And then they never looked back. The Cardinals have been an early inning scoring team. They haven't done well in the middle stages of the game, but they just seem to not be able to finish off this New York team. They pitch extremely well. They pitch out of the bullpen very well. And, of course, a 9-run, 17-hit performance will speak for itself.
Pete Alonso's 2-run homer shifted the momentum, really, to break the 3-3 tie, giving the Mets that lead, and it marked his 8th home run of the season, underscoring his role as an offensive contributor for the Mets, but definitely making an impact here. Of course, Clay Holmes navigating early challenges. The Mets starter pitched 6 innings, allowing 3 runs on 8 hits, striking out 3 despite early difficulties. But again, pitching is going to be critical for the Cardinals and putting up runs. You can have a great hurler go out there and throw a game, but if you can't put up runs to support that, you're going to end up losing another game, and that's not what we want to see out of the Cardinals.
Well, and you've been around baseball your entire life. You understand the importance of a starter going deep in game number 1. That didn't happen for the Cardinals tonight. Sonny Gray just making it through 4 1/3. The bullpen was taxed, so we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the series. But it has felt like, and I don't know if you feel the same way, looking at the last trip through the rotation, the Cardinals starters have not been as sharp as they were to start the season. Liberatore didn't have his best outing. Fetty didn't. Palante has struggled. The only starter that has really been as sharp as most in the league has been Miles Mikolas. Looking at his last 4 outings for the Cardinals, he's been great. But Sonny Gray tonight didn't have his ace stuff, and they talked about it on the broadcast, puts 100% effort into every pitch so that when he gets into that mid-80s pitch count, something bad could happen.
And, of course, Mikolas was the one that a lot of fans were down and out early on, and he's put up some really good starts. I had a quick conversation with Dad about the other day, and he's like, Sara, he's had really good outings, and they haven't been stellar, but good outings, enough to where it could have given the Cardinals a win. But he goes, he's had no run support with some of his outings, and that's where you're going to fall into trouble. And tomorrow, Fetty's going for the Birds. We have another matchup that could go either way, really. But if the Cardinals can hit and pitch that perfect combination, which I know it's easier said than done, then they're really going to do well. But, man, when it falls off one side, it falls off on the other, and that just can't happen, or it's going to be a miserable season.
No doubt about it. Well, while we have a moment, it's important to note that baseball season is officially underway, and it's time to step up to the plate with DraftKings Pick 6. Think of DraftKings Pick 6 as your fastball right down the middle. It's the easiest way to play for cash and take a shot at a big win. Just select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. Cash in your baseball knowledge. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. You'll want to download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Looks like I jumped the promo a little bit early there, but the Cardinals drop game 1 9-3. They have a big one tomorrow that they feel like they need to win, continue their winning ways at home, where Eric Fetty will go to the mound for the Cardinals, trying to get them back into the swing of things. And they had a good series in Cincinnati, but you don't want to lose yet another series to the Mets. I mean, getting swept by them for the first time since 1986 in a 4-game series, that hurts the ego a little bit. To drop the first 5 games just goes to show how tough this New York Mets team is.
Well, yeah, and their bullpen shut us down tonight. I mean, they had a combined only 3 scoreless innings, but again, that just goes to show, like you said, starters that can go deep really need to carry into a team and a series win. If you don't have anyone to keep firing out there in the pen, a mid reliever, a long reliever, and you keep using up your bullpen, you're going to lose automatically anyway, because you're going to have no arms left at some point. But they only had 1 hit and 1 walkout, striking out 2. That is the Mets bullpen. And their efforts just really helped the Mets keep that victory intact. And as far as the Cardinals, I know that they did have that early 3-2 lead, but that was also capitalized on a throwing error at third. It wasn't like it was manufactured runs where we got on, moved him over, and got him across the plate. That error scored across the plate, and then we'll take a run as we can get it. But it wasn't just something that was as simple as putting the ball in play.
The Cardinals just haven't seemed to be able to get that 3, 4, 5-game winning streak yet. Not saying that it isn't there, but when you're 5 games below 500, you're really craving that. Every loss is looked at least in my mind, as one step back from the progress you've just made. So you've got to continue to find a way to stack those wins, and they're running into a tough schedule, so you can't blame them. Now, couple of silver linings. Mason Wynn looks like a fantastic option in the number 2 spot. A 3-hit performance. His average is up in the 270s. He has looked good. Wilson Contreras has looked good. So hopefully that is a sign of what's to come for the Cardinals. But only time will tell what this team is able to do.
And of course, there were some roster moves made today. So that had a lot of names, positions going up and down. You had Roy Koff recalled from Memphis. And then, Svayson option to Memphis. O'Brien also going to Memphis. You're going to have a lot of these, I feel like, with the Cardinals trying to piece those little pieces together, so to speak, because I think you've got some guys that come up, they have a couple stellar outings, and they just fall apart, and you can't seem to get them back mentally or emotionally, and vice versa. So guys go back down to AAA. They have that mentality, okay, take a breather, get things back on track, get focused, start performing really well, and then bring them back up. So whatever that transition or whatever that phase looks like, Ollie, I think, is kind of starting to figure it out, and that's a good thing, but it needs to be figured out on a more permanent basis. So we're not doing major roster moves all the time.
Well, the Arms seemed like they were dead after a long road trip. And again, their next off day is May 8th. So they might use the Memphis Expressway as a way to get these guys some rest and find a way to piece together this bullpen, which has struggled at certain points in the season. And again, it's all about development. I know there are frustrations. This team came out hot. They looked great in their City Connect uniforms. But, you don't undo all the progress that you've made in Cincinnati, but you have to find a way to take advantage of being at home. That's where you've had your most success. We'll see if they can do it tomorrow. 1:15 Central Time first pitch, Eric Fetty versus Tyler McGill. This is an interesting matchup. Fetty would like to go out there and shove. Obviously, McGill has had great numbers this season for New York. And St. Louis has to defend their home turf. They have 5 more games at home. They have 2 more against the Mets, 3 against the Pirates. You know you're going to run into Paul Skeens. So you might as well get a couple against the Mets while you can, and maybe try to keep your luck up against Skeens, who you've had a lot of success against.
Yeah, McGill looks really good so far this season. 3-2 with a 1.74 ERA, 39 strikeouts. Pretty solid out there. Fedde, of course, 1-3, a bit higher ERA, 4.68, and only 17 strikeouts so far in the season. So the strikeout ratio there, not equally yoked, and nor is the earned run average there. So hopefully, again, Fedde can put out a solid performance, take a little bit deeper, not use the pin as much, not rely on that. And hopefully the Cardinals bats can just find some noise, just a little bit, start putting some things out there, maybe hit a home run or two, get some people jazzed up. We're back at home, get the fans in the game, and get back right on track.
Yeah, and for Fedde, the main issue has been the walks. He has nearly the same amount of walks as strikeouts, so he's putting base runners on. He's done a nice job of controlling those base runners and preventing them from scoring, but you know that at some point you give too many free passes to a team like the Mets, they're going to make you pay. They made the Cardinals pay with extra opportunities tonight. Hopefully that doesn't come to fruition tomorrow. Now, before we sign off, it is a late Friday evening. The Blues have had major success. It's going to be great to see them in Game 7. And I know that a lot of fans are probably sitting and waiting for the post-game show for the Blues as we speak. What a great time to be in St. Louis. But for the Cardinals to get back to that place, to get back to a rockin' Busch Stadium, what do they need to do the next couple of games in this homestand to try and get back on track?
I think it's the bats. I really do. I mean, pitching is a key factor, but even when we've had solid pitching performances, we haven't had the run support. So I feel like the bats need to get back. Yesterday, Sunday was a doubleheader. What day of the week is it? I am so right. It is. Yes, the rain out and then the doubleheader was when they had the home run just slugfest. And so that caused a lot of uproar, excitement, as it should, but that's a doubleheader and it needs to be carried over. And so I just think they need to keep that portion of it. They don't necessarily have to hit 10 home runs in a game or, put up 10 runs every game, but just be consistent. Find those ways to put the ball in play, keep the bats alive, support your pitcher, give them some confidence in what's going on behind them and at the plate, and give them that chance to strive. So if they do fall back just a little bit, it's not a complete loss.
And Sara, it's no surprise and no secret. Well, it is a surprise. It's no secret that the Cardinals have struggled out of the DH spot offensively. How much help do you think Ivan Herrera will provide when he comes back to this team in the coming days?
Well, it depends on the strength and how he feels. I mean, he's always a good spirit in the clubhouse and a great leader and, always that good, solid mentality, which I think is probably needed quite often when they're in a little slump or a losing streak. But he was doing really well before he was injured, and I'm just hoping that he can pick up right where he left off. I'm pretty confident that he can. Young, strong, of course, the best trainers in the game and the best rehab situation going on, best plan for him. But I just hope that it doesn't become something down the road. I hope it's like a one and done type situation where it's not going to be something that's going to pop up aggravating him when they play, in some rainy weather or just one little slip or something, and it kind of just aggravates stuff. So I really hope this is going to just be a full recovery. He's going to be back at it and back to where we know that he can be.
And that is a huge power threat for the Cardinals, a team that prior to a couple of games ago was really missing that slug. They found it at Great American Ballpark in games 2 and 3 within that doubleheader that you previously mentioned. Didn't have it as much tonight, but still, an 8 to 9 hit performance, that's kind of the range that you expect them to be in. We talk about scoring 5 or 6 runs and you'll win the majority of the games that you play. Tonight was not one of those nights. The Mets were all over the Cardinals pitching, and they were seemingly finding ways to drive the ball out at Busch Stadium, a place where it seems like it has been a home run vacuum. They have not been able to get the ball up and out at their home ballpark. The ballpark just swallows baseballs as you hit it in the air. I mean, Gorman had a couple that were hit on the screws. And hopefully as it starts to heat up, as the summer months continue to drag on, they will find that stroke, and that will help them win some ball games.
Yeah, and the Mets were putting the ball in play as well outside of hitting home runs. I mean, Alvarez drove in 3 runs. Soto had a multi-hit performance tonight. He continued his strong season so far. He was 2 for 5, including a double, and his efforts have definitely helped the Mets out with their offense throughout the game tonight and throughout the season. So a lot of things there for the Mets that when they have it going the right way, it's going the right way. It's not like they're going to be like an absolutely miserable team. They are 21-11, so give them a little bit of credit for coming in and doing some damage here on the first game of the series. But again, the bats and pitching have to come collectively on the same page to make sure that we can do that. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at a few more losses.
And before we go, again, we touched on it briefly at the beginning of the show. Gray going 4 1/3 in game 1 of this series ahead of 5 more games at home. How concerned are you about the coming days with Steven Matz not being a bullpen option? Now he's in the starting rotation. Him not being available if a starter needs it to eat up some innings.
Well, I think we're going to have a lot of questions answered. I really do. I mean, we're moving some folks around that we haven't typically seen in the positions they're in. So I wouldn't quite say I'm concerned, because I feel like concern has been the whole season. I feel like that's been something like, I'm concerned about their pitching. We're concerned about this injury. We're concerned about this. We're concerned about that. I really feel like this is just going to answer a lot of questions with some of the options that DFAs, and then some of the guys they brought up. Really just plug and play and see who works. I still think we do need to find someone that can eat up some of the middle innings, though. And I'm not confident that we have that person that can go out there, throw 2-3, not get beaten alive, and really just like give up some innings that need to be eaten when someone doesn't start out right. So I think if we find that person or that strength in somebody, it would really help out in critical games where we might be 1-2 runs ahead, and then take that win and then be excited about it because you did have that mid reliever.
Well, hopefully there's an opportunity tomorrow. 1:15 Central Time first pitch. The Cardinals drop game 1 9-3. The New York Mets will take it at Busch Stadium tonight. For everybody here at Sports Hub STL, I'm Stefan Caray with Sara, Dayley. This has been the Cards Hub Postgame Show, brought to you by Hot Shots. All content provided by DraftKings. The crown is yours. We'll see you tomorrow for 365 ahead of the day.